Eric Beans with Happy. I'm here to talk about text marketing, 10DLC, something I know a lot about. I used to own a text company that was predicated on personalized mass communication. One of the things that was coming in when I was getting out of the industry officially is 10DLC. So, what's 10DLC? It's 10 digit long code. In other words, your area code, your first three prefixes, and your last four of your telephone number. So your 10-digit regular phone number. Only in this case, it's not your phone number. It's the 10-digit long code that was being used for large scale communication. So mass texting using regular phone numbers. So this was able to be done for a while through companies like Twilio, Bandwidth, and some other groups. The carriers, in an ad hoc, I would say government induced sort of way, said, let's put a stop to it. And first, what they started to do is whitelist certain words and blacklist other words. So if you put in, mortgage rate, cannabis, marijuana, any of that sort of stuff, it would block your message from being delivered. One of the ones I thought was odd was ammunition, because ammunition's obviously not only is it legal, it's also constitutionally protected, but that didn't matter. They were blocking arms sales as well through any sort of marketing through texting. So that moved into 10DLC regulations. And essentially what that was is there were government people that had sort of made their way into each of the telecom carriers from Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, et cetera. Each one of the carriers agreed that in order to stop this large scale communications that were coming through these Twilios, Bandwidths, these peer-to-peer providers that would set up with companies like I had and others that would use them as gateways, they said, let's charge toll for use of these things, and let's put severe restrictions on this sort of traffic. Instead of saying, let's try to come up with a good way to balance business and profits, they said, let's make profits higher and let's sort of throttle the business. So right now, every company that is going to do text marketing in any way, shape, or form has to register. That registration is bigger registration, including fees if you're doing more marketing, smaller if you're doing less marketing. So in essence, they've taken full control over your content, just like they do on social media. And they can turn you on and off from a marketing perspective through your text marketing, just like they can through social media if you say something that the powers that be don't like. And I think that's kind of the point of it. They're positioning it as, this is good for the industry and good for the consumer, whatever. In reality, it's just more way to throttle speech that they do or don't like, political speech and other, because texting is becoming a very valuable way to reach the masses. And I actually blame Trump, because I think his move when he did that 5-digit, the short code blast under the Trump thing, they said, all right, we gotta keep this type of stuff under control. And 10DLC was shortly thereafter. So it was already in the plans, but about the same time Trump announced he was going to do this stuff, shortly thereafter, you saw a pretty big push for this. So like all things, people blame Trump, and I'm one of them on this case. So anyway, this means that your text marketing is likely going to be taking a hit. And right now, it's a bit of a disaster. I've had cases where people have sent out a lot of messages and have received no responses back. So they don't deliver the messages until you get an approval, or if you've switched to toll free, you have to register the 800 number, the toll free number. So there's lots of issues in the industry right now. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, if it gets better. And this is one of the reasons we're building real-time socket technology to be able to direct connect you with customers without any sort of carrier interference. So it's a direct connection. No carrier interference, no spam lists, no 10DLC, no ICANN. The opt-in is obviously you have to have the person on the app, and they can block you at any time. Pretty simple. I don't know why that's such a big deal with text and other things, but people are abusing it. They're rotating numbers, and if you blocked one, they had 100 more. At some point, that does get a bit annoying for me and for everybody else. So where I see this going is your email is already pretty well filtered through spam. We've given the email control to the international community. Texting is now along the same path, is going to be a lot more managed and controlled than already is. We're going to be opening up direct to consumer communication so that you can tie in people that would want to hear from you and communicate directly without these sort of issues. And I think that's a good way to go. It'll protect the consumer, make sure you're able to communicate, and you're doing it on your own server. So, whatever you want to chat about, as long as it's not illegal, you chat about. And the illegal part is going to be determined by the NSA, who's going to be watching all communication in any way, shape, or form. So, obviously you want to do things that are up and up. But as long as you're chatting, you chat away, say whatever you want. In the meantime, everybody, I hope that's a decent explanation of what's happening. I hope everybody has a great night. Be happy, and we'll do this again tomorrow.